Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your video for the weeks of April 16 through 29, 2024. This is a reading for you if you are a Capricorn sun, moon, rising, or have another significant Capricorn placement in your chart. If you're new to this channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. And if you're returning, welcome back. Hopefully this is a good reading for the most of the rest of April. We are literally just over the hump of a rather difficult cycle with eclipses, Mercury retrograde, Saturn and Mars squaring off against each other. We're still in Mercury retrograde through the 24th, 25th, like around there. So there is still some potential for delays, miscommunications, and things like that to go on. But I feel like the worst is behind us right now for April, which is great. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you choose. And if you do like these videos, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I very much appreciate it, and it does help the channel to be seen. And I do have some links in the description below to my spiritual coaching services, readings, Reiki, human design, astrology, and also to my social media as well. So you can check those out if they interest you. For those not familiar, and I probably say this every one, so those of you who are familiar are probably tired of hearing it, but I do a full astrological spread. So this is based on the 12 houses of astrology, and that's what all the positions will be interpreted as. Not every aspect of every position is going to apply to you, so only take what applies to you and leave the rest. I use the Murray Hope's Way of Cartouche. That is the main deck that I use. And then I will be clarifying with the tarot deck. This week I am using the brand new Austin Osman Spare Tarot, the AOS Tarot, put out by Strange Attractor Press. I'll show you the cover of this one. Okay. This is brand new, just came up from a Kickstarter. This was, those of you who don't know who Spare is, he was a chaos magician who was very famous for his sigils and his drawings back in the, I want to say early 1900s. And somebody has taken the tarot deck of his that was never published, and now it is out. It is a rather interesting and strange deck. So we're going to be using that one to clarify today. And then I'm going to end with a oracle card pull, and this week we're going to use Moonology. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into your reading. Okay, Aries energy is the first house. This has to do with your personality, how you present yourself to the world, how other people see you. And wow, you've got the 8 of Diamonds with the Nephthys card. Okay, so these both actually say the same thing. So right now, Capricorn, this is the sense of, okay, there's two possibilities here. Either you are keeping a secret, you have things that you are withdrawing from people, you are being, this is somebody who's a little bit more mysterious, not really showing the world who they are. Maybe this is that you are in this period of self-doubt or self-discovery. That's also a possibility with Nephthys in the first house. With this 8 of Diamonds, though, this is about what is secret, unknown, or unforeseen. And that's literally also the meaning of this card right here. So, yeah, this is either you keeping secrets, you'll be learning secrets about that are connected to yourself and your identity in some way. Or you just may be withdrawing from others right now and taking a time out, not really letting people in on what's really going on. So you may be a bit mysterious to people right now. Second house is Taurus energy. This has to do with finances primarily. It's ruled by Venus. First house is ruled by Mars. Okay, so we have Ta plus the universe here. Now, the universe card always brings some kind of an ending. So this is the idea of an accomplishment, the idea of a job well done. It seems like a cycle of something connected to your finances is closing out. This can also have to do with monies achieved or received, I should say, possibly achieved, through something that's online. Okay, so if you work remotely or something, this could be a work that you achieve, that you get that is done at a distance or remotely, or this could also indicate travel for work. The universe is a card of foreign travel in particular. It doesn't have to be, it can just be something that's very far away. So that could apply for some of you here as well. And you have this with your own energy, which is Ta. Ta is Capricorn energy. And this is the hallmarks of Capricorn, which is, persistence, hard work, dedication, perseverance. Like all of that is an element of Ta. Ta is also about mastery, mastering your craft. So I feel like you're working hard to achieve financial stability, perhaps to straighten your finances out. Maybe the ending is that maybe you're finally paying off a car or a credit card or a house or something. I mean, there could be this finality in the sense of I'm finally done chipping away at paying for something. So that could be what the situation is here. Whatever it is, I mean, this is definitely a sense of slow and steady and persistently building up something and maybe finally coming to a conclusion with that. And if that hasn't happened, it does seem like this could be something that happens soon. Or like I said, if you're not paying something off, this could be a sense of perhaps work that is going to be received that may be either online or at a distance. Third house is Gemini energy. Gemini is about messages. It's about communication of all kind. And as I indicated, Mercury is still retrograde, so this house could be affected. With Mercury retrograde, we have here, we also have in this house, speaking of communication weirdness, this has to do with self-effort. So if you are self-employed, that would also apply to this house. It has to do with sibling relationships, brother-sister relationships, and travel, but it would be short distance travel, not travel at long distances. And in fact, we do see travel here. We have the King of Clubs, and we have Anubis. So Anubis could indicate a trip, because Anubis does have to do with travel. So there could be something that you're doing. And again, this is not getting on a plane and going somewhere unless, I don't know, maybe it's a short 1 hour flight or something. I mean, this is definitely travel that is more local to you. So there could be some kind of trip there, or maybe even a day trip that could be of importance. This could also have to do with negotiations. So if you are in a situation in a business, maybe you are negotiating a contract or something. This King of Clubs energy, they're talking about, advancement, friendship. So this has clubs for spare. It's funny because the traditional tarot suits, I've noticed that he kind of interchanges them randomly. So clubs typically are wands. So this would be about working hard to get what it is that you want, or having somebody on your side to help you get what it is that you want. So there could be some negotiations here. This also could have to do with protection, or somebody who's acting as a protector or a friend in a particular situation. Because Anubis, like I said, can have to do with all of the above, but it's often about carefully navigating your way through a situation. And whether or not this King of Clubs energy is you, or whether it's a friend a communication with somebody, maybe it is somebody who you're navigating certain terrain with. But the energy of the King of Wands is definitely a friendly energy, and comes across as somebody who's a little bit more ambitious and perhaps has a good head on their shoulders with regard to business planning or organizing. Fourth house, we have Cancer energy. Now, Cancer has to do with the home, like your literal physical home. It can have to do with your sense of being at home, wherever you are. So even things like relocating and moving would be covered by this house. It has to do with family, ancestry, and in particular, the mother. And yeah, in fact, we have the Horus card here. So with Horus, that is a very strong family card in the family house. So there may be things going on related to family. You do have the Star card. So maybe for some of you, this is going to be a new addition, a birth of a child. It can also be the Star is about healing. It's about vulnerability. It's usually the Star is the card in the tarot that comes after the Tower. So it's usually after there has been some kind of potentially a crisis or upset, the Star comes in to bring new hope and new possibility. So that could be what's going on here. This could also be just a chance to achieve a wish of some kind, because the Star is one of the wish cards. Now, Horus also has to do with healing, as does the Star. So it could be that somebody is recuperating from something at home. Maybe there's somebody in the family who is ill and who is recuperating. I mean, this is definitely a good omen for good health and recuperation. But it does seem like there may be some positive focus on the family right now for some reason. Fifth house, this is Leo energy. This has to do with creativity, children, love affairs, and sometimes recreation. Okay, so you have Sirius with the Seven of Spades. And this is usually spades are usually like swords. So Seven of Swords or Seven of Spades in this deck is about removal or departure, is the way that Spare characterizes it. And we have it with the Sirius card, which has to do with work. Again, it's funny, you've got Ta over here in the second house, and then you've got Sirius here. So it just seems like there's a lot of actual work. This could actually even be work in the sense of manual labor for some people. Sirius in the fifth house can have to do with sports. So somebody maybe who is doing sports, or maybe somebody who is engaged in physical activity, maybe somebody who's working with a personal trainer or going to the gym. But there's usually, this has to do with creative expression or recreation in some way. So there could be somebody here who is involved in sport. Maybe they're going to be going away. The fact that the seven of spades, excuse me, has to do with departure. It could be somebody who's going away for a sports tournament or something. That could be a very literal interpretation of this. But if that's not the case, there's still the idea here of travel or removing yourself from a particular situation. This could have to do, if this is connected to love affairs, then this could be you or somebody you love going away at a distance. Who knows? Maybe for sports. Who knows? Or maybe it's just a situation where Sirius can also indicate a need to take the rough with the smooth. Things kind of being up and down certain days. In terms of creativity, I would say that Sirius is more Aquarian in its inflection. It has to do with the future, Aquarian technologies, thinking outside the box. So this is also a possibility that maybe somebody is engaged in some kind of creative venture, maybe connected to AI or connected to something that requires futuristic thinking or thinking outside the box in some way. But we definitely have this element, this either very physical element or this very future thinking element. And we also have this idea of movement or departure. So take it as it resonates for you. It's going to be different for everybody. Okay, sixth house. This is Virgo energy. This has to do with your health. It has to do with worries and anxieties. It can also have to do with the job. So, and I say job as opposed to career, because some people have a career which ends up, or the thing that they're really interested in making their mark with might end up being more of a side hustle, and they may have a regular day job to pay the bills. So that's what I mean when I say that. It can also have to do with volunteer work and sometimes with pets as well. Okay, so we have Hathor with the Fool. So Hathor is a card, okay, in this particular house, again, there's a number of possibilities. This could be working at something in a profession that is connected to what I call Venus energies. So it could have to do with going into cooking or baking. It could have to do with something to do with aesthetics. So massage therapy, Reiki therapy, anything having to do with esthetician, being a hairdresser, being doing makeup artistry, things like that are all connected to this Venus energy. If that's not something that you are connected with or that you're not doing, then Hathor, what it might have to do with getting prepared, getting organized. It's a very efficient card. It's about it has almost that nesting instinct to it. Women know what I mean when I say the nesting instinct. It's that thing that you get oftentimes is at least one time a month where all of a sudden you have the desire to organize everything and just put it together. It's akin to the birds nesting and the idea that you're arranging and organizing things, like you're trying to make a home or make something familiar or comfortable, right? So there's an element of that there that could be connected to a job. Now we have it with the Fool. So the Fool has to do with, excuse me, sorry about that. This is a house that has no floors that are even, so I do have a thing that props it, and I've just sort of kicked it out of the way by mistake, so apologies for that. The Fool has to do with risks and risk-taking, okay? So this could be maybe somebody's planning to go into business and open a salon or a spa or something like that. Or maybe they're going in on a business venture with somebody, something connected to this. So that is a possibility here. It can also indicate, on the health angle, Hathor has often to do with nutrition. So sometimes this can indicate that somebody might be having, say, stomach issues, or they might have other issues, maybe allergic issues or something that might be connected to food. Again, I'm not a doctor, so definitely check with your doctor on things and don't rely on me for that. But sometimes this may indicate that a focus on diet or nutrition might be a thing for health. And again, take it as it resonates or not for you, but that is one of the things about that. And with the Fool card, again, there's just this idea of taking a risk at something. There could be a worry about taking a risk. There could be a desire to be organized and in control of something, and maybe sometimes this can indicate not wanting to be out of control. So again, take that as it resonates, but yeah, interesting set of cards there. 7th house, Libra energy. Libra has to do with partnerships that are legal in nature, so marriages, business partnerships, contracts. And okay, this is interesting. You have the Ankh here, and you have the 10 of Spades, which in this particular deck is the long journey card. So there could be somebody, okay, didn't we see something about travel over here? I saw something about travel with money here. See some bright expectations here, and removal or departure for something. So for some of you, you could have a loved one or who is at a distance. I mean, Ankh is in the 7th house. I mean, again, this is about legal partnerships. So this could be a marriage or somebody who may be a likely candidate or for marriage for some of you. But this could also indicate a loved one, maybe who is traveling or is going to be away at a distance, or perhaps somebody who lives at a distance if you're in a situation where you are not married already to someone. Yeah, there's definitely a strong love vibe here with the Ankh. So whether this has to do with if you're already married, if this is like getting the spark back in your existing marriage, or just maybe you've always had the spark, but maybe that's going to be a focus. If we're talking about business partnerships or contracts, again, Ankh, if somebody here is doing something with beauty or aesthetics, that could be connected to a business contract connected to that. That is a possibility there. But again, you have this idea of travel. So this can also have to do with business partnerships. So again, it could be a business partnership connected to the same subject, or just to something that you're very passionate about. But in any case, we are definitely seeing this idea of travel or a long journey that is somehow connected to this. Let's look at the 8th house. This is Scorpio energy. Scorpio has to do with transformations, so endings, beginnings. Joint finances is also an element of this house. There's a few other esoteric meanings, but those are the main ones that we usually run into. Okay, so we have the 8 of Spades with Osiris. Okay, so the 8 of Spades is that he calls this the slight illness card. Now, if it's anything like the 8 of Swords, I feel like this is a card of difficult mental energy. Okay, this is when we get ourselves mentally tied up in knots. Sometimes it can bring psychosomatic illness or just a feeling of being stuck. Now, you do have Osiris here, and Osiris is definitely a call to leadership. It can indicate a stable situation or creating stability. So I feel like, I mean, we are seeing travel and such, but I also feel like there's this, you have the Ta energy here. You've got Sirius here. I mean, there's definitely a feeling of working hard at something and putting down roots. Okay, so there's definitely this energy of that. But with this 8 of Spades, like I said, my first thought is the 8 of Swords, which would be about maybe overthinking something or overanalyzing it. So it's, yeah, slight illness. I'm just seeing what else it mentions. He says poison, suffering, hurting. Yeah, there's no poison involved here. But there could be some kind of a situation where you feel very... maybe there is something, like I said, we have Sirius down here. So for some people, this just could be something that it can affect your stress level, certainly if nothing else. If we have Hathor with food and nutrition here, that could be a factor for some people. Or maybe it's just stress illness or something that might be corrected through having something that's more anti-inflammatory in nature or something like that. I don't know. Again, take it as it resonates. You will know whether or not this is how serious this is, but yeah, I'm just sort of looking at some of the other associations that we have here. Yeah, generally speaking, I don't know. I feel like this is like something that could be like a mental or a physical, something that you're healing from, but it's not coming across as something that is particularly serious. So, and with Osiris here, it's definitely, there's this idea of stability. So I don't know. I feel like you may be recovering from something or going through a phase, whether it be more figuratively or literally, and perhaps now you are moving into a position of stability where you have your strong leadership is what's being called for, or you're going to be taking the lead in something. Okay, 9th house. This is Sag energy. Sagittarius is Jupiter energy. This is about expansion, so long distance travel. This has to do with higher education, going back to school, getting more credentials of some kind, whether you go back to university or not. Deeper thought, so this would have to do with philosophy, religion, deep questions. All that's connected to this. Freedom, the feeling of freedom. Okay, speaking of, you've got the Pope card, which is the Hierophant, and you also have the Water card. So this is the idea of, I've seen a lot in here about a long journey for somebody, whether it's you or somebody else. So and you also got the Journey card in the 3rd house. So somebody is definitely traveling with this, okay? There's some kind of a trip. This seems to indicate a long journey, and when the Water card shows up, it's often a journey to water or across water. So maybe somebody is taking a trip that's going to be overseas or something, or just, I don't know. I mean, across water could even be across a river, but in any case, there seems to be a long journey in the offing, at least for somebody. Now, with the Pope or Hierophant card, now this has to, that directly relates to traditional religion, okay? So I don't know if this is going to be something that you're doing. Maybe someone's going on a religious retreat or pilgrimage. That's possible. There could be, or there just could be something here that learning about something or connecting with a mentor in something that might be considered traditional. Now, just to be clear about the 9th house, when we say traditional religion, we tend to think, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, like all the traditional religions. But even if you are, say, joining an official Wiccan coven or something, I mean, there is a sense of something that is official and traditional to that as well. And this Pope or Hierophant card actually has to do with somebody who might come in as a teacher or mentor, or maybe helping you, they reaching what they call the higher level of commitment, or perhaps going more deeply into something. So it's probably going to resonate differently for different people, but that's certainly interesting that we have both a travel and a deep thought kind of, mentoring and deep, religious concepts kind of idea coming up in the 9th house there. 10th house, this is your own energy, Capricorn energy. So this is about career, fame, reputation, the legacy of things you want to do for the world, and also has to do with the father, potentially. Okay, so we've got Bast with the Wheel of Fortune. Bast is a happiness card. Okay, so this is about, this is definitely a card of healing. So it is possible, like I'm seeing Hathor down here. Maybe somebody is involved in some aesthetic kind of thing, like I said, like massage therapy or Reiki therapy, but they all, maybe some kind of, because this has a lot to do with healing, especially healing of the mind. And it's kind of a mind-body thing with Bast. It also can just have to do with connecting socially, maybe going to events, going to conferences, being seen in some forum that's a little more social, because Bast is about getting attention for something that you're doing. Okay, now the Wheel of Fortune, I mean, this is a change that is out of your control. This is almost like the wheel is turning. Of course, with the energy of these cards, the wheel is turning in your favor. So this is not a negative thing, but it does seem like you may be reaching a turning point in your career, and maybe getting ready to move on to whatever the next thing is for you. 11th house, this is Aquarian energy. Okay, Aquarius is about friendships. It's about social networks, business partners. It can have to do with your, your hopes and wishes, and also your goals. And they call it the card of destiny too over here. Okay, so you have the Magician or the Juggler card with Seth. Okay, now Seth, it shows up, this is usually indicating some kind of anxieties, delays, obstacles of some kind. Sometimes this could be a difficulty with a person. Now with the Juggler card here, it does make me inclined to think that this could be somebody, maybe somebody who's being tricky. We do see this idea of negotiation and protection, so maybe there is somebody who you're working with who you have to be careful. Again, this is Mercury retrograde. Be careful about contracts you sign and things you get into. So there could be something tricky here that maybe you want to pay attention to, or maybe there's been a delay with something. Now, I usually draw a second cartouche card to go with set. Yeah, we have Sphinx. There's somebody who's not telling you something, okay? There's some kind of an arrangement. Again, whether this is a business arrangement, whether this is somebody in your friend group, but there's definitely a sense here that somebody's keeping information from you, somebody who's trying to be tricky here. So so definitely keep your eyes open. That's probably why we have this idea down here of protecting yourself in terms of, because this would be the area that definitely connects to contracts and things like that, communications of those kinds. So this would be a fair negotiation, and this would also have to do with protection. And whether this King of Clubs character, whether that's, again, that could be a man or a woman. There's usually, clubs usually has a fiery energy associated with it. I'm trying to think, look at my notes here. Sometimes, okay, spare sometimes makes clubs into pentacles. So we're talking maybe either earth or air. So somebody who would either be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone who's Taurus, Virgo, or another Capricorn. Does not have to be, though. It could just be somebody who's just very ambitious, and maybe somebody who's very, I don't know, very well established, certainly, in business. Okay, so 12th house, Pisces energy. Pisces has to do with what's not seen. The 12th house dumps a whole bunch of stuff into it. But Pisces energy is generally about what's like imagined. It's about it's again, we're talking about what's hidden. You've got these secrets. You've got the secrets already in the first house. So the 12th house may show you what those secrets are about, where you might have doubts, fears, things like that are all connected to the 12th house energy. Okay, so you have the Knight of Hearts, which are also like cups. He actually says that here. The arrival, approach, advance of an envoy or messenger. And you also have the Isis card. So we definitely have strong water energies here in the Pisces house. So now, Isis has a strong mother vibe to it. Okay, so I don't know, just looking down here, I mean, we've got some good energy here in the mother house. So I don't know if somebody's here is having a baby, maybe there's some worries about that. The arrival of a child, that could be something. Hathor here in the 6th house too could also have to do with pregnancy or motherhood. I'm not seeing the Buckle of Isis, which is the card I usually see in association with fertility. But that doesn't necessarily mean that might not be a thing. You could be concerned about somebody else, but in their situation. But Knight of Cups, traditionally though, this can have to do with something that is potentially a distraction. Isis has to do with being compassionate, being caring, self-care, things like that. It's also very strongly intuitive and has to do with patience. So I don't know, this could also just mean that you are waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to arrive, and perhaps maybe there's some anxiety about the fact that it has not arrived yet, or that a person hasn't come in or made an offer or done something. There could be something that, maybe that's the delays we're seeing over here. But yeah, it feels like whatever this is, you're being kind of quiet about it until you have all the details on something. But somebody I feel here is ready to make a move, whether they're literally moving somewhere, moving house. Again, there's very strong family energy, very strong love energy here, and also the possibility here of somebody going into something connected to, as I said, something Venusian, something connected to something that's aesthetics, beauty, or connected to massage or, healing or alternate therapies or something like that. All of that's possible here. I mean, it's not necessarily the case, but I do feel like at least somebody watching this may be getting ready to take a risk and strike it out on their own. So like, for example, if you've been a hairdresser for years, maybe you want to open your own salon, something like that. Okay, overall, we have the Lovers with the Crook and Flail. So Crook and Flail, yeah, recognition, signing contracts, being confident, stepping up, self-discipline. All these things are connected with Crook and Flail. As you can see, there's kind of a strong legal connotation to that as well. And the Lovers has to do with making choices. It could have to do with partnering with somebody, so there could be a partnership in the offing. But this is partnering. This is a card of authority, so it's about being on the right side of the law, making sure that you're doing everything the right way, or that things are being done fairly. And yeah, so I feel like there's some decisions that you need to make, Capricorn. For some of you, I feel like this may have to do with business. Some of you, this may be more connected to the home and family, and some it may be connected to marriage or relationships. So let's pull a Moonology card for you and see what we have. I want to see if I can just stick to one, maybe two. For some reason it wants to only drop like 4. And I just want 1. Here we go. And it's still, it wants to give me 3. So you get 3 today. All right, so first we have full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. Okay, so that's message number 1. The second thing is you are good enough. That may be why we have Crook and Flail here. Maybe there's a crisis of confidence here. Maybe you're getting ready to take a risk and not sure that maybe you're capable, or maybe you feel you haven't taken all things into account, but this is assuring you are good enough. Again, this is also a card of good health, clean eating, alternative therapies, and things like that as well. And release negativity. This is the full moon in Scorpio. Okay, so this is about the things that maybe you were afraid of or paranoid about or worried about, like trying to release that stuff. And finally, you have the full moon card, which says surrender to the divine. So remember, we saw the Wheel of Fortune up here. I believe you're at a period of time when, yeah, something is coming up that is inevitable. Do recognize you're good enough. Let go of past beliefs and so things that may make you in doubt about the direction you're going in. And overall, I think this is a really good reading for you, Capricorn. I would just say just be careful of contracts and things, because somebody may not be totally upfront. But it looks like you are making some changes and possibly even some physical moves as well. But you got all these very, very solid cards that are very much associated with your sign. So everything looks really good. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you choose. And also, if you would like to subscribe and hit the notification bell, you won't miss any of these videos. Have a great rest of your April, and be safe. See you next time.